Good morning guys, welcome to my Flosstube. My name is Emily. Happy May. It is May the 1st. We are 7 hours into May. It's 1 minute past, it's alright. Yeah, it's 1 minute past 7. Flora is up and just getting ready for school. I think she's going to use the hairdryer in the other room, so I'm sorry if you hear that, but life is occurring in a minute because I've got to get Flora's got to get ready and get to the train. And then Lizzie's going to get up because I've got her tonight and she's going back to London tomorrow, but she's going out with her two best friends today, so she's going quite early on the train. And then Maddie's getting up and she'll be working, and then I'm going to work myself at 10 past 11. That's the hairdryer if you can hear it. I'm going to work at 10 past 11. I've got a long shift today. I've got a 12:10, but 10 hours pay, so on balance, let's get it done. Right, I've done stitching, of course I've done stitching. I've worked since I did my last video, which I think might have been the Friday as well. Thursday or Friday last week. I worked 4 days, had Monday off, did lots of bits and bobs on Monday, and then I am on now, this is day 3 of 4 more days. But I've got the weekend off. I'm working Bank Holiday Monday, which I'm absolutely fine with. It's May Day, Bank Holiday Monday, May Day, which in the UK is a bank holiday, so lots of people have an extra free day off. The kids are off school for an extra free day. Oh, there's Cosmo getting up. But I'm working, which I'm perfectly good with because I get time and a half on a bank holiday, which makes my hours for next week okay. So I've got 3 days off next week, and that's okay because I've made extra hours on Monday. So I'm good with that. I was going to have to ask for an extra shift, but I don't need to. When I realised I was working the bank holiday, I realised I didn't need to because I'll have 39 hours for next week. For next week, so that's going to be okay. I'll take my 3 days off because I need them, because I am very tired. I've got 150 million things to do. And yeah, so I have stitched. For the week, it came out at 6,125, which is an average, I've averaged it, of 882 stitches a day. So I like to think that I could stitch 1,000 stitches every day, but I'm not quite there. Sometimes I would be and sometimes I'm not. And I did do two very, very big days where I did nearly 2,000 stitches each day. So that really made the difference to my week. Like yesterday and the day before, we were bumping around the 300 mark because life, you know, I've been on two earlies, and you know, you just don't get so much done. It is absolutely glorious here in the UK at the moment. It's currently 18.5 degrees in the conservatory, because one of the windows is open. When I got back from work yesterday, which was about 4:15 in the afternoon, it was nearly 40 degrees in here. Luckily Richard had vacated. He sits outside in the sun for a little while. He's already gone so brown. Sits outside in the sun for a bit of the day because it feels nice, and then he goes and sits inside in the living room, which is the gloomy cool room, which is fine. Terrible for stitching, but it's fine for sitting in when it's like that. His left eye basically doesn't do anything anymore. No change, light or dark. His right eye, if he sits outside, he says it's very, very much lighter. Still just grey, but very much lighter. So that's better than complete darkness. He can see some lights with it. You know, the lights he knows and recognises, he can see. Strange, unusual lights that he struggles to see. So we don't know if that's brain, or we don't know if that's... His brain says, you will now see a light because I'm going to switch this light on, and then he switches the light on and he sees the light. So we don't know. Anyway, it's an adjustment. We'll get there. Sorry, need my coffee. Yesterday I was so tired I had to resort to having a tin of Monster just to get me through the rest of the day, which I don't do very often. Anywho, stitching. So I have only stitched on 6 things, and fish and chips, which I'll show you now, I only stitched on for 152 stitches. I was going to do some beading, and then I didn't quite get round to it. I went and did something else. So what I did was finished off the corner of this whale, this whale here. I finished his tail and I've stitched the anchor. I've stitched the bit of the anchor that I want to have as stitching, and then the rest of the anchor, because obviously there's the cable that runs round through the anchor, that's going to be beads. That was going to be my first bit of beading. I've got a piece of my thread here that's going to be, oh, that's where I stopped. I was going to find some fine needles, but to get to my needles I've got to really climb in at the minute because my table's pushed against my sewing, what was going to be my sewing desk. And the needles are in the far drawer of the sewing desk, so that's going to be a bit difficult to get to. So yeah, that's where I stopped. I could have just pinched it off a tiny Modernist cell, I suppose. I think that was my thought, and then I thought, right, I'll just do something else for a minute. So there we go, there's the whale all done, and fish and chips as it stands with that many stitches in, that is at 9.71%, so you can see how small this little long dog is, because that's nearly 10% of the stitching done. And it's wonderful, and I've got the hiccups, which I always get when I start talking. So I'm going to try and do a bit more stitching on that this week. Excuse my hiccups, which are prolific suddenly. What else did I do? I counted in that week's stitching. I did put in, where is it? It'll be under there. I did put in my last few stitches on meditation. I've already shown you this because I showed you it in the last video with the completed goal. So I could have folded it better because the picture's in the middle and I folded it evenly. Let me refold this up. Into meditation, which is a Elizabeth Welker Haid piece, which is enormous, which I'm kind of sensibly extreme cross countrying. I say sensibly because some of these colours have got colours that are currently 18 inches away from where I'm stitching them, so I'm leaving them for later. But if any of the stitching is touching the stitching I'm doing, I'm stitching it in. So you see, it's here now. This is pretty much where it was. This is where it was where I showed it you last time. And it got a total of 813 stitches to finish off my Whip Go goal for March, which leaves us at 6.1%. Now, my Whip Go goal for April, finished off my stitches for April. I'm in a bit of a fuddle still. So this also pulled for May, so he's staying out. So this is our start point for May. I've counted the stitches because I did them. It's actually had 20 of its May stitches put in. And I know it's not very many, but 20 stitches is 20 stitches, and it's already had 20 of its May stitches. So where's my little, I haven't done my new page yet. Meditation, another 3,200 stitches. So I've got to, I haven't started my May page has just got my goals in at the moment. My April page is complete. All my stitching every day, and my numbers for each day here, my total for the month, and my Whip Go goals sit along the bottom. And if I finish them, they get a smiley face. And if I haven't, they don't. And they carry over. I'm carrying over 3 for May. So cumulatively, I am carrying over more and more. But I'm not having the year I expected, and only to be carrying over 3 when I've done 16 is not bad. It's not bad. I've done 13 of my goals and carrying over 3. So meditation is on the roll for this month. Another 3,200 stitches into that. I'm perfectly happy to do that. I'm very confident I'll get that done. Confident that will be fine. Okay, meditation. Now my treasure hunt bookshelf, I put in a total of 1,116 stitches in those 7 days. I hope I stopped counting at the 7 days. Oh, I didn't. I counted in yesterday's. Okay, my numbers are all screwy. Don't worry. My total for the week is fine. I've just counted in. So I've done like 1,050 stitches in the month, because I counted in yesterday's stitches because I was tired when I did this morning. What I'm doing with my treasure hunt bookshelf, and I can't really show you a picture of how it was and how it is now, is I'm stitching in black. As I said, a skein of black. I've borrowed a strand off this. So it is, the skein is going down dramatically, but I have borrowed one piece of 6 strand and put it into Hawkrren Hollow instead, because I wanted to do that. So black I've done here, and I think this black here has been done, and then I'm working here on this bit of black in here. So I'm just trucking along. Anywhere that black shows up, I'll do all the black, and then I'll move, and then I move the Q-snap along and do the next bit of black. I'm kind of not quite at the top, so I'm catching in any black. I think we're down in like the top row and the next row down, and I think we might just be touching the 3rd row of pages at the moment. I'm just working all the way across. Obviously, when I get to here, so I'm going to move the Q-snap maybe once, twice more, and then I hit a big swathe of it finished. So then I'll move down, sweep up any black stitches I've not done in this part, and then I've got a big swathe in the middle here where there's no stitching. So I'm going to try and, I'm just going to carry on. This is fine. At the moment with my treasure hunt bookshelf, this is fine. So I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing and filling in the black stitches. I've still got like 38,500 black stitches to put into that. Plenty to do, and it doesn't mean I don't have to think. That tends to be my last job in the evening. Like a strand if I've been on late, 2 strands if I've been on an early. It just depends how tired I am when I go up to bed, and I'll put in a little bit of work into that, and it's a strand or 2 that goes in. And then sometimes I'll sit down and put in 3 or 4 strands, and you'll have a 600 day, you know, just depends. But I am still working on it every day, which is great. And it's currently at 33.34%. So I am officially 1/3 finished. It is a 1/3 finished, which is pretty good. If I was still doing my 1% a month, I'd be rocketing towards a 1/4 done, but I'm not, because my life is different now. But I'm stitching on it every day. I make myself stitch on it every day. You know, as soon as I go, oh, I've got to do those stitches. As soon as I thread my needle and put 1 stitch in, I'm happy to put in a strand. And then sometimes I put in another strand because I'm enjoying what I'm doing. So that's Hawkrren Hollow, which I'm just going to chug along with doing what I'm doing at the moment. I'm happy with it. Then we've got City of Love, which is an Emma Congdon, a different kind of Emma Congdon. And last time I filmed it looked like this. Since then I have put in, this has been most of my stitching this week because I needed to catch myself up. I've put in 2,990 stitches, which leaves it at 37.7%. I've completed my whip go goal, it's over by about 40 stitches. So that was 5,000 stitches into City of Love. And this is where I leave it. So it's come along quite a long way. I think it's come along a long way in this 5,000 stitches, and I think it's looking really good. As you can see, I've moved my Q-snap along so I can get these stitches in here. These stitches, this checkerboard, needs to be done in really good light. Otherwise, you cannot see where your tiny 814, it's 818 or 819. Stitches. They're the pretty pale shell pink. Yeah, you can't see them. You absolutely can't see them. So I mostly had to sack off doing these. I wanted to get this corner all done. Yeah, I had to kind of leave that, and I've been stitching on this great big blue. There's a great big blue building here which kind of dominates the piece. So I've been stitching on him because I could see the blue. So I finished my stitches on City of Love. I'm very happy that it's done and out of the way, and I can put it away. Now, City of Love was prompt 4 for Whip Go. So City of Love can go away. I don't know if it was in a bag. Maybe it was. I'll find out when I go to put it away. Possibly was. So prompt 4. there is a giveaway in there, but I haven't finished the other piece yet. But there is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pounds going in box 4. So I'm up to date with myself there. So box 4 has got 1 prompt finished. It's still got Halloween at Hawkrren Hollow to finish, and then we can do the giveaway for box 4 when it's completely done. Moving swiftly on to Halloween at Hawkrren Hollow, which did not get finished. Here's my little thread key for my colour conversion. So Halloween at Hawkrren Hollow got just under 1,000 stitches, about 950 stitches last week. It looked like this when I filmed last time, and now it looks like this. So I've finished the dungarees. I need to pull some other colours. I've done quite a few of these pumpkins, which are coming out very two-tone, but I do kind of like them. And I've done the black cat, and I've picked up my border. This is the one strand of 310. I stitched the cat and I stitched the border until I ran out of 310. And now I'm back to pumpkins again. I just thought I better get that top corner in so I know where I am. There's some leaves in the pumpkin patch, and there's a really big pumpkin here. I think this is a very big pumpkin, and I think there's a very big pumpkin here. And then obviously there's the spike that the scarecrow's on, and his arms and his head and all of that to do. And then there's leaves in this corner, I think. So I'm still got quite a bit to go on this. I am getting on with it. I am going to carry on. I'm going to carry on. This is a rollover, so I'm going to carry on with him. My aim is to get it done, because I don't want it to fall behind, because that's a block a year. And there's the other side there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years I've been stitching on this piece, 1 block a year, and I need to keep up. So I'll get that finished. So that's that one. And then the only other thing to show you is my tiny Modernist Sal, which I put in 434 stitches in that week, but I don't think it's changed since I showed you it last. So I'm just going to show you it now. It's currently here. There we go. Oh, so it's looking absolutely brilliant, and they're beaded. The words along the bottom and all the greenhouse frame is beaded, and it's glorious and I love it. And the fabric behind is pink, so that is affecting the colour of the fabric, because this fabric is very fine. It's 36 count, but I'm doing it 2/2 so that the colours really pop. And this morning I got the notification that part 4, which is the other part of the top, is out. It is brilliant. I'm going to put a little picture up of part 4. There is a dragon on the top of the greenhouse, and he was unexpected, and I love him. He was not, I didn't think there was going to be a dragon climbing up the side of the greenhouse. So there he is, and I'm really pleased to get on with that. So I've still got, I didn't do my figures. 18, part 3. Right, part 1 is completely finished. Part 2 has got about 300 stitches left to go, and it's just the side here. It's the beads that join here, the side of the greenhouse. I've just got a few beads to go there. Part 3, I've got 1,000 stitches to go. It's part 2 is at like 92% or something, so I'm very nearly there on part 2. I will just pop those beads in and get it finished, because then I can delete it off my pattern keeper, because I've already put part 4 into pattern keeper, so 1 in 1 out kind of thing. Part 3 is at 42.94%. I've got about 1,000 stitches to go. I've got all the fill-in to go in here. This is a hanging basket, so I've got more to do on this, and there's bunting here, and then there's a big there's a moon and a star, and there's like a leafy thing on this side here. So I've got half of part 3 to go. before, but I'll probably start part 4 and work part 3. I'm going to finish part 2 so that it's all done and I can get it off my pattern keeper, and then I'll work on part 3 and part 4 together, and then part 5 is the equal piece that will go there. So I'm not up to date with a sal, because I'm never up to date with I don't do sals, not like this. I think the last sal I bought and tried to do as a sal was the Dreaming Girl, Barbara Anna. How many years ago? 3 years ago was that? More? Maybe 4, maybe 3, maybe 4 years ago. And I ended up stitching her 2 years later. I ended up finishing her after I moved in here, I think. A long time, you know, it's been a long time past the sal. So that one I'm not keeping up with, but I'm definitely in the mix for it. So very pleased to see part 4 this morning. It was really good and fun. The fabric I'm holding behind my work, by the way, is the fabric that I'm photographing all my needle minders for Ko-fi on. So if you see a bit of fabric in the background, it's this. It's Pole Stitches fabric, and it was the first piece of fancy fabric I ever bought, and I've never stitched anything on it. It needs a fairy or a mermaid or something, but that's the fabric that's behind. So if it looks very washed out, you can see the colours washed out. If it looks very blue or very pink, the colour's probably quite good, because that's really true of how bright and colourful this piece of fabric is. It's very nice. It's obviously a hand dyed Pole Stitches fabric. It's Zweigart. I think it might be 28. Yeah, it's 28 count. So it'll be perfect for a mermaid or something. Anyway, that's what I'm holding up. So we did not bad for April. I did my block of the Shores of Hawkrren Hollow, which has got lots of threads left ready for next year. So there's my other block. That's my other piece that I did in April. There was that block of my glorious Technicolor version of the Shores of Hawkrren Hollow, which is half finished. I am at the 50% mark of this. 6 blocks done, 6 blocks to go. And he is ready for next year, because I will just do the other half of the central block next year. I'm imagining I'll probably do exactly the same next year and whip go with my tree box, because it's working so nicely. And by next year, we should be very much sorted with our brains and knowing how we're dealing with life going forwards with the life that we have now. So, you know, I should be a bit more sorted out with everything. Oh, the project bag's over there. I was going to pop it away. Right, so that's 2 to pop away. So I've got 2 I can put completely away. And as we roll into May, I've got 3 more projects and meditation. So coming out today of its beautiful little bag, which didn't need to be in a bag, but it is. This lovely one that glows in the dark, which is marvellous, is Autumn Fox here. So there's my little Autumn Fox start, and I'm going to crack on with him. What I need to do is get my cone of black, which I'm not 100% sure where my cone of black is. My brain wants to tell me it's in this box, but it's obviously not. Oh, it is. Here it is. Here is my only cone of DMC 310. Absolutely covered in cat hair, because cats walk past it. Jammed inside it is a spool of very fine something. Oh, it's even got a little label on it. This will have come out of Dead People Stuff. This will be mercenised cotton for crochet. But you know what? That looks 12 weight to me. That really does look 12 weight to me. Interesting. Okay, I'll put that back in the box. That is the random thread box. It's got horrible fluorescent DMC. It's got DMC Colorus. It's got some little bits of petite treasure braid and some spools of cry neck. And it's got the little pack of Leo and Roxy floss that I was given. Things like that live in there, and an old leftover diamond painting kit up. Anyway, got my cone of black, which I'm going to need for Halloween at Hawkrren Hollow, I'm going to need for Treasure Hunt Bookshelf, and I'm going to need for my little autumn fox. Maybe just one strand for the autumn fox because it's 40 count. So I'm doing one strand over 2, and you can see the stitches are petite. Ready for a Q-snap. And then we've got Peaceful Street, which is in a little frame here, which is down for a finish. So I've got down for 2 finishes here. Don't know how many stitches is going to finish this. I'm obviously going to keep track of them as I go. Don't think I can get this into Pattern Keeper, the pattern. I don't think I can. I think I'm just going to have to bite it and use the paper pattern. It's that weird, shiny paper pattern, you know, that's like printed onto a poster, the Russian style. But everything I need is in this bag, the Christmas Flossmas bag, the one I made afterwards, so it was mine, with some bits left over. And then I've also got the key, which I think I have decided, having not thought about it again since the last time I picked it up. Coffee's now stone cold. I'm going to put my Q-snap into this top corner, and I'm going to see if I can fill in this top corner. So I'm going to take a start picture there, and I'll put my Q-snap into that corner and see if I can get that piece finished. I've got, I think the goal, I can look at the goal actually, is the key 3,500 stitches. So actually this month I've got quite nice goals. Autumn Fox is a finish. The key is only 3,500 stitches. Meditation is 3.2, and Peaceful Street is a finish. So it's not like I'm trying to batter 5,000 stitches into anything. So alongside those, I'm going to try and finish my Halloween at Hawkrren Hollow. And I would dearly like to get my Renato Parolin pulled out and some stitches into that. And I would dearly love... That's Flora who's... Yeah, we're meant to be leaving in 3 or 4 minutes and she's not dressed yet. She has dried her hair, but she's not dressed. She just stuck her head in and go, I think instead of stressing us both out, I think we get the later train. Because she's not ready. I'm ready. I just need to put my Crocs on and we're out the door. So... yeah, she's so funny. She's so funny. Anyway, we're getting the later train, so now I can finish my video and not have to run out, come back and finish my video. Yeah, The Amazing Animal Kingdom is also dragging itself. And you know what else I've been trying to... So The Amazing Animal Kingdom needs 3,072 stitches. Renato Parolin Season Trees needs 3,683 stitches. And my Halloween at Hawkrren Hollow is like reverse counting. I'm counting how many stitches I'm doing rather than how many stitches there are to go. When the block's finished, the goal is met. So, I think I'm going to try. At this point, I feel overwhelmed that there's so many things I want to stitch on. I need to stitch on. You know what? I'm just going to take a breath. It's going to be fine. I would like to stitch. I will be stitching on my tiny Modernist sal. Full stop, I'll be stitching on it. I'm probably going to take that upstairs with me and put the rest of those beads on and do some stitching into the new part while I wait for Flora. I want to stitch on my 2 long dogs and actually put some stitches into them. Might not be very many, but I want to get on with them. And I also would like very much to pick back up my Mill Hill Christmas kits and maybe see if I can finish another one of those. And by finish I mean put the cross stitch in, do all the cross stitch on one of them. I put that down at the beginning of February and that's where it stayed because that fell behind, got left behind when the world tipped sideways. So I'm just going to see what I can get done. I'm going to see what, I know I'll get good progress. I always do. I know I'm going to make good progress in things. But at the minute, I want to do like 6 different things. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 empty Q snaps right here. And I've got 4 pieces to put into them. So that's brilliant. Everything else is already in a Q snap. So we're good. So we're good. I think maybe when I finished Halloween at Hawkrren Hollow, I will look at picking up one of the other outstanding pieces and stitch it alongside, because that's in a Q snap, so I don't need to worry about harvesting one for him. Peaceful Streets in is because that's the 4th, because Peaceful Streets in its own little frame, so I don't need to find a frame for him. So that's okay. Right. Ko-fi wise, my shop is currently closed because I am restocking it. So what I've done, all the orders I've had, and thank you so much, I've got 3, maybe 4 orders picked, ready to be put in their envelopes, which I'm hoping I will do this morning and get them away, because then it's off my mind. I've got 1 needleminder of the month, still needs posting, and that's ready, done. I just need to drop it off. I dropped off a big pile yesterday at my old post office, and because it was the older lady who I handed the tool to, and she wasn't sure what to do, and the other lady was helped, but the other lady who's really savvy will have helped her. I didn't get any international. I meant to get the customs labels. I forgot. That's really just totally annoyed me. But when I go today to the post office, I'll get some, and it will be fine. So I've got a couple to post. My shop's currently closed, and what I did was I went through Ko-fi, and anything that had sold, it leaves the listing up for me to see. So I had like 10 pages of listings. I deleted everything I'd sold, and now I'm now listing lots of needle minders, mostly the stamps, the new ones, and I pulled from my stock these. Which are the ones that I'm going to list. And I also found, now these I made, and they never sold, they really just didn't sell at all. So I'm going to list them, because I really love them. I really like them. They were my attempt at like doing I've dropped that one on the floor. Hang on. At doing just like stone. It looks like soapstone. But then of course I resin them and put in sparklies and things. And they're kind of translucent, and there's kind of sparkly bits in them. And I've got these sets that hold patterns really well. Do you see they sort of look like stone? So I'm gonna list them up too, because I really like them. And I know there's definitely some in my giveaways in my tree there, but it does kind of look like soapstone. See, that one's quite translucent. That dark blue one, not so much. But it was a really fun technique to do. It involves polymer clay and paint, and because it's me, mica powders and things, and it was it was very messy, quite a fun thing to do. And then I just cut them into shapes, and there is one. Here he is. There's one big turtle, and he is a big needle minder. He has got a mammoth. There's a standard magnet. He's got a mammoth magnet on the back of him. So he is a big job. Some people have lots of needles though that they put on their thing. He was like my first 3D printed cutter that I got. I found 2 companies that I buy on from Etsy that make cutters, and I've got 2 of these left. The tentacly eyes. There's 2 of those. They're both red. I will make more of these, but these are very time consuming because you've got to tentacle them and then you've got to put the suckers on. But I've got 2 of these, and they've both got eyeballs on the back as well as the front. So we like those. And then we've got all sorts of bits and pieces just old, just stamps, you know. These will all, that's a lovely Australian one there. But sometimes they're nostalgic, you know. Sometimes people remember the stamps because it was their era. And sometimes they're just a pretty picture that means something to somebody. This is my all-time favourite. I have one of these of my own. This is a mint condition stamp. I love this one so much. This is the 3 chimney pots and the cat and the dove. It's one of my all-time favourite stamps ever. Oh, Cosmo's having an issue with his neck wrapping. And then this one was in the set too. They were Christmas one year with all the birds posting their letters. It's beyond British. That is beyond British. This doesn't look British to me so much because these chimney pots don't look very British, but they are beautiful. But this is one of the most British things you're ever going to come across in your life. Our British post box with a blue tit, a magpie, a thrush, and I think it might be a little goldfinch posting Christmas cards off. I love them. I love them. Anyway, I'm blathering. But so my Ko-fi shop will reopen and it'll be full of different needle minders. I've got a big batch of thread drop needle minders on the table. I've got a pile that are just in the smoothing process. I will then decide whether I'm going to adorn them and resin them. And I've got some resining to do of new needle minders, the new stamps, and I've already listed but the shop's not live yet. I've already listed the Beatrix Potter ones. I only have 1 each of those at the moment. I'm going to order more. I'm going to get myself more stamps and make more, but each one is one. They're one-offs. So I will be opening my shop and selling some things there. And my bags are cut. I cut every scrap of that fabric out. Every piece left over, I've cut to make a thread bed with. So there will be bags and there will be thread beds, and they'll be all different. The thread beds will be all different shapes and sizes because they're some will be folded like the Christmas ones. Some will just be a little flat thread bed, just because they are using every scrap of the beautiful fabric that I bought. So they're all cut out. My next job is to cut the interfacing, and then I'll start construction. So I'm really hoping that when I finish these 2 days at work, I get 2 days off. I get 1 day in, and then I've got 2 days off. So I've basically got 4 days off with a bank holiday, extra payday in the middle. Extra work. I get extra pay for that day, is what I mean. So I'm hoping I can get some bags knocked out, and then they'll be up. Because the month has just turned, and this month, with all the very kind help and purchases from my Ko-fi shop, I've managed to make the month, which means I've managed to pay all the bills, which, when you're doing it on your onesies, is shocking. I always used to pay all my bills in my old house, but I got myself into a lot of credit card debt because obviously there wasn't enough money for the month. I've done it this month. And I know it's the first, but all the bills have been paid this morning, and I've made the month, and it's very hard. So thank you to everybody who has helped me. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. It means that for now, before Richard's PIP is up for approval, it's a long process. It could take 8 weeks. We're hoping it doesn't take 8 weeks, because if it doesn't take 8 weeks, we'll be okay-ish again. Until that's approved, we are shoestringing it, literally shoestringing it. So we'll be fine. And I did treat myself a little bit last month. I got myself some stitchy bits, and I bought the fabric, and I bought some fabric to dye, which again I haven't done, but I'm very hopeful that when I get some days off, I'm going to sit down and do some dyeing, which will be wonderful, because then that'll go in the shop too, and then that'll help me for next month. Assuming it's pretty and you like it and people want to buy it, that will be lovely. But currently my Ko-fi shop is shut. The link is down below though if you want to follow me on Ko-fi, and then I think you probably get a notification when I reopen my shop. If not, check in a couple of days, because it's going to take me a couple of days to chug through these listings. I did 12 last night, and I was like, I want to do some stitching. As soon as I start doing it, I'm like, right, I'm going to get this done. And I do like 4 or 5, and I'm like, oh, I'm bored now, I want to do some stitching. So yeah, we'll get there. And I need to do my drawer for the little guy here. I have some of these as well that Lizzie made before that were in my Etsy shop. They're over there. I've still got the photographs of them, so you know, to be honest, all I need to do is pull the photographs, put them in an album that's easy to find, and I can get these little guys listed back up into Ko-fi. These are lovely little things. Anyway, scissor fob for finishing prompts. Which was it? Meditation. It was 10. It was box 10. This was the prize in box 10, so it was last week's giveaway. I'm gonna put it up on the screen. Oh, it's here. I've written the name down. I did it before I started filming, so I'm putting it up here, and as you can see, it has come out as Amanda the Stitching Panda. This little, he isn't a little panda, but he is a little bear. This is yours, Amanda. Contact me on Instagram or email me. Instagram's easiest. I see it the easiest. My email has like 2 separate files, and sometimes things go in one and sometimes things go in the other. But this is yours, Amanda. If you message me with your postal address, I will send you this. And the 2 giveaways I had outstanding, the swirl, the bunny, angel, I posted it yesterday. If I'd have remembered, because she totally had messaged me and said, it's me, I've got an open order, I could have put it in. Just when I went to pack the order, I was in one of my really stressy, anxious moments because I was a little overwhelmed and I really didn't want to make any mistakes, and it was my mistake. Yeah, it wasn't a mistake, it just didn't go in the same packet. So it's on the way now. You'll get him. The bunny's on the way, and the swirl needle minder is on its way. It might get to you today. Nicola, I think Nicola won that one. So that's on the way. So I'm up to date with my giveaways. So that one there is going to Amanda, the Stitching Panda, and message me your postal address and I'll post that off, and I'll try and get my last few Ko-fi orders out today, definitely tomorrow. They're ready to go, they just need putting in envelopes with all the little finishing touches done and everything, so that's all, and it's all picked and whatnot, and then we will be good to carry on. So a lot of my orders, I think I posted 14 things yesterday, are not marked shipped, but they are shipped. So the ones in the UK, hopefully you'll get this morning, and you'll be like, oh, I didn't get the shipping notification. I just stuck them in the post yesterday. So, and the internationals will be on their way to you. So that's great. I think I'm done. Yeah, I will see you in hopefully just under a week, because I'm going to try and get back to my doing it on the right day thing. This week's just been a bit of a blur because I've been working every day and still trying to stitch, and then I had my little boy yesterday and Lizzie came round and we had everybody here, and I was also incredibly tired, and I need to spend time with Richard because he doesn't get a lot of other input in his day, which he's going to start. There's an OT coming round today to do his exercise with him, and then next week, Monday actually, bank holiday Monday, but apparently because the hospital's open, they're going to come and get him and take him to the hospital gym, which is like their rehab area, and start him on some physical like exercising, because he's slumped into a slump and he needs to get his strength back really. And so they'll take him through the hospital's rehab area, and they'll do that once or twice a week, I think he's down for, which is going to be wonderful for him because it's going to get him out of the house and it's going to totally jigger him out, isn't it? He's going to be knackered after that. Right guys, going to have to take Flora to the train very shortly. I will see you very soon. Have great week stitching. If you're in the UK with this glorious weather, enjoy it if you can. I'm hoping it holds through Saturday so I can sit outside on Saturday, would be marvellous. But yeah, I'll be spending 10 hours in my shop today working, which is fine because I need to work. And then tomorrow I've got an 8-hour shift, and then I've got 2 days off, which will be marvellous. I'm looking forward to them already. I've been looking forward to them since I started my last 4 days because I knew my one day wasn't going to be much. Right guys, I will see you very soon. Bye bye.